Okay, hi everyone. Welcome for this new episode of ZBrushLIVE with me. I'm Thomas Rossel from Pixologic, and today I will continue this long project of this figurine done then of course with ZBrush of 2B from NieR Automata. It's based on an illustration from Tim Lochner. You have the image on screen right now. During the past episodes we have been built the characters, the pose. The last one was about the pod, this kind of small robots, and unfortunately I had a hardware issue. My computer just died literally 10 days before the release of ZBrush for R8, and you can imagine it has been a big mess for me. I made a lot of things for the development, then that's why I had to cancel the last stream, and then of course after it was a release, etc, etc. Then I'm back for I hope for multiple streams now with I hope with no issues. Let me just pop out the chat. Okay, you're around, Kyle? Then okay, let me show you my webcam. Okay, then I did a quick test print, you see, of the pod, just to see if the scale was okay, if I had some issues. And you see this one in fact is slightly articulated, just the arms and even the small ones. I can move them up and down like that. Then it was my last print with the Form 1 Plus, because luckily I purchased a Form 2 and I just had the time to print just one model with it. Then more prints for the next ZBrushLIVE. Then for that one, then I'm pretty happy with the scale, and of course I saw some issues, like you see this kind of small, let me just to have better contrast. You see these small lines here which are way too thin, and with the support it's almost impossible to remove. And to be honest, I really enjoy these articulations, and for the final one, in fact, I won't do a kind of pose, but I will articulate almost everything, perhaps not I don't know the name, let's say the hands of the robot, because it's very small and it will be very tricky, but perhaps they will be able just to rotate like that, rotate the arms in all directions, all this kind of stuff. And as you can imagine, I did this print in with ZBrush for R8 to do all the preparation work, because it's done in multiple parts. Then I will speak just after a little bit about Boolean stuff, and of course today I will use some of the new features of ZBrush for R8. And to be honest, I've been lucky to work with ZBrush for R8 since a while, and for the little story, it has been very difficult for me to work in this project knowing that all the features I had already available for me, at least in for R8. You remember when I did this kind of print, I spoke a little bit about the thickness, and inside the thickness I did that with ZBrush for R8 and the live Boolean, just to find the good thickness and checking everything. Then all of that, of course, I will come back to you later. You see all the hollowing, all these kind of things. It has been made with ZBrush for R8. Let me load you. Then what you see on screen right now, let me just hide pure ref. Yes, for the chat, yes, it's this is big, and the final figurine will be big, because like I told you, this thing is at the good scale. The hips are the good scale, you see, based on my hands, and I have quite big hands for the arm then, and of course the pod, which is at the good scale. Then you see it will be I think something like 25 centimeters with the pose, then it will be, yeah, kind of big. Hi 3D Kyle. Then, just very quickly, I have right now on screen the model that I printed and what you see is a result. Let me just check if I'm on the good subtool. I won't really go back on the live Boolean right now. You already have some videos online, and of course I will explain the process later. I just want to explain a little bit what I did before switching to finishing this pod. Really today I want to finish the pod. Let me just bring back the references. What I want to do is to finish the pod, which is not that much. I won't explain, at least for now, the articulations. It will be more in the part of preparing the model. I will just show you later the evolution of this current model. Then I want to finish a pod to do all the accessories around. I don't know the name of this kind of stuff in English, sorry. Everything like that. Next time will be all the fine-tuning, finishing the pose, doing small details. It will be a lot more sculpting. Why? Because July 30th, at the end of July, I will be in Japan for Wonder Festival, and I will present this figurine during multiple presentations on stage, and of course, just because I want to enjoy that, then everything needs to be done for July. Let me switch back to the good screen. Okay, and now you can see everything. And I need to do another figurine for the Wonder Festival. Then I will need to speed up everything. But now that I have ZBrush for R8, it will be way more easier. Then you see on screen right now that you have this pod. This is the model I printed, and you see, let me switch to solo mode. Now all these parts, and you see I did some keys, very simple keys, just also to simplify the printing process. This is a kind of model, there is no way to print that as a single object. There is no way because of the support. Then you see everything like that. I did each part separately, I split that, and after I added the keys. Then you see, oops, let me remove that. You have that way the other part with the internal part, and you see for the rotation, like I presented before, I have a hole, and I did 2 cylinders which are going, let me show you that. This is the center part, you see, like this, and I added an extra cylinder which is going through each part, which are these big arms, you see this one, and the small ones like that. That's why I'm able to articulate, and the gap between the cylinders and the holes is very, very small. Then I have enough frictions to keep everything in place. Of course, later I will put some stoppers and things like that to do the full process. And for the let's say the head of the pod, I just did a small, quick, very quick a sphere as a negative one, and you see the positive one here. I also did a kind of stopper at the end just to do a quick and simple assembly. Let me load now the last version. Let me remove the solo mode. Then the version that you see right now is slightly different than the one I printed. I did some modification. Hi, Seagull Crush. How are you doing? Then you still have the subtools and everything, but let me switch to the polyframe mode. You see, I just split the front part and the second part. Like that, I will have the arm, which will be able to rotate that way around this axis, like that, and the back part will be able to rotate along this axis. And then for this area, right now it's not done yet, but I will be able to do a rotation like that, perpendicular in a perpendicular angle. Then I should be able to rotate then along this axis, and being able to do a rotation. And at the end, for the, let's say, the hands, I need to refine a little bit the shape to go more inside. And another thing I did was to increase the thickness of these fingers exactly on these parts, because the one I did, let me just show back, so it's a little bit small on the print here, it's very, very, very thin, too thin in fact, and the supports, the touch points of the support are thicker than the thickness I did for this model. And of course, because of the scale, I won't be able to articulate everything. Oh, I thought I had the other one, so I just have one. Then that's all for the Boolean part, and of course I will come back to this part probably the next time, or the following presentation. Okay. Oh, sorry, just one thing. As you can notice, I realign everything to be almost aligned with the world axis. Okay, like that. It's easier for me after to do all the rotation and articulation. The idea behind is not to do something which would be fully articulated. The idea is to do something that I would be able to pause quickly before fixing the pose. Like that, it's easier. And a last thing, because I played a little bit on NieR Automata recently, something like a couple of hours, and I've been very careful about how 2B was catching the pod, how she was just grabbing the pod. And in fact, in the game, it's not behind in this kind of area, but in fact, this is the two small arms which are just going on front like that, and then she's grabbing the small arms. But well, I think it's nicer to see the small arms, and I will stick to what Tim did for the illustration. Okay, then let's do the garment, correct, which is the name of this kind of thing, small knots, and let's move forward. Then for this part, what I did, this top part, this is the one I just grabbed from the one from 2B, and then I will just try to refine based on this shape. Okay. If you have some questions, of course, please feel free to ask your questions. I will try to stick to this project, but perhaps I will answer them if it's even a little bit off topic about 4i new features. Then right now I have the gizmo. I guess you already saw the presentation of 4i that Joseph and Paul and Solomon did, which was a great presentation. And I will just reuse quickly what I have here, so for this model, and I will adapt. Then I have multiple ways, and to be honest, I will just use the move brush, but I would be able, why not, to use some deformers. If you go, let's say, in the bend arc deformer, you are able, you see, to just bending slightly a little bit more your model based on an arc, which is aligned with the axis. Then in fact, it's great because I wanted to lightly not stretch, but changing the proportion a little bit like that. Okay, then feel free to try. Let's say, okay, I want to play, no, it's not a good axis, but with the angles or the radius like that. Just try these cones, and when you are hovering the cones, you have the information below. You see just down, angle, etc. Just try. To be honest, it's very easy to use. Okay, then let me, oops, sorry, I have the calibration. Okay. Let me just move a little bit forward because I need to take care about the part which is below, which need to be visible at least a little bit. Trying to snap to the surface. Something I will perhaps do, let me just zoom in. I don't know yet. Perhaps I will do this kind of corners here, which just with just a little bit of booleans. It shouldn't be too complex to do. I need to move everything forward a little bit. Then let's stick. Let me see. I'm around this part. Okay. I will enable the transparency. Okay. Yeah, I know I always saying okay, okay, okay. I have the split line. Well, not a big deal. And I will increase the thickness a little bit as well. To be honest, it's been a while that I didn't really sculpt and use ZBrush for personal projects. And I'm very happy to do this stream tonight. Okay. I think I need to think about some insert meshes or things like that for this kind of shapes. It may be good. I want to give a kind of how can I say that? Some curvature. But I need to be very careful about not overlapping the two models, because this one, let me remove the transparency, then this kind of top head, I don't know, you can name that, it will be printed separately, and then after I will just plug it to the head. Let me just move it a little bit up like that. Okay. This is again off topic, but I really invite you looking the ZBrushLIVE presentation from Fukui-san, who is a Japanese artist who did one about ZBrush Core. Today, of course, it's fully in Japanese, but he did a very great job about doing something different with ZBrush. And I really enjoy his style, which is not anime style or whatever. It's a kind of small house, and this is the type of job that you don't really see very frequently with ZBrush, and it's really great. I just follow a little bit what he was saying with my limited Japanese. Okay, now I don't have any more contacts. Okay. So I have the small knots to do. I think it's more forward. I need to bend that a little bit more to the front parts, kind of twisting. Yeah, kind of rotating everything. This is probably what I will refine offline later to avoid spending too much time on that. Okay. Then now the small knot not on the side here. I will do something which will be very similar to what I did before. The only thing I will be very careful is I will try to be very close to the shape of the head because of the printing process. I don't know if I will doing 2 parts, very small parts, but even if it's a large print, it's very small, and I need to be very careful about the scale of this stuff. Thank you, Mordekainer, for the link. Yeah, in the chat you can find the link for a high resolution of the print. Okay, then for the small notes, I will do that with multiple subtools, same as before. It's kind of flat, but yeah, I will do something I wanted to do with this part, but I will doing the same here. Let me show that. What I will do, I will insert a polymesh 3D, which is a star, and this star I will initialize it with a quick cube, but this quick cube I will change the resolution to, let's say, 21, and if I'm not wrong, it should be, yeah, being a line like that. Let me remove my perspective, and I will go on this side. I will rotate that way, just changing the thickness a little bit, and I will use the Z modeler, and I will insert an edge loop around like that, like that. The idea is if I'm smoothing that with my D key, it's kinda staying close to this stretch cube and not being too much rounded. Perhaps I will change a little bit the thickness. What I need to keep in mind is the thickness I have on these small fingers for the robots, because I know that I'm able to print them, and I need to be very careful about the minimum distance. Okay, then just a little bit, but I prefer to have a little bit too much thickness than not enough, and then having failed prints or just breaking the parts by removing the support and sanding and all these kind of things. These cycles, okay, this is your plugin that you're, okay. I need to test it. Okay, and to do this kind of shape like that, I will use a deformer, which is a bend curve. This is a deformer that I'm using a lot. I really love it, where you can change the axis. You see, I want to be on the vertical axis, and now the resolution of the curve. And like that, you are able to just deforming that way. I don't want to twist, just to deform. You see, like that, your model. Okay, then perhaps it's a bit too large. I need to be very careful about the size. And you see I have this kind of bending. Okay. Woo! It's nice, this kind of twist. Because I don't remember if I rotate that the good way or not. And you see this here, you can change the smoothness of your model. Okay, let me just be very close to that. And for each one, if really you want, you see you have this twist, then you can change the twist of each one if you want. why this one is so much twisted so far. Then let me just twist a little bit that way. Okay, and let me just, it's strange that I can't smooth more than that. I have this twisting stuff. Anyway, now we'll accept. And with my move brush, where is my move brush? Sorry. Let me switch to my solo mode. I'm trying to make them a bit close to each other. If I really want to smooth without losing too much the shape that I had, of course I can work more with subdivision levels and not the dynamic subdivision, which is a little bit too much sometimes because I have very few polygons. Or I can smooth then in higher levels. Okay, so far I remove my solo mode, then I can switch to move. I'm moving my gizmo, I'm pressing the Alt key while doing that. It's a little bit too big. I need to do the knot on top of that. That I will do just after. And I will rotate, and I will be very careful about probably mixing everything on this location like that, and moving slightly the back of this part to be close to the surface, because if I want to print that together I will have more force and constraints apply on this model. Then let me switch back to my move brush. See, that way. By using the move topological brush, of course, I will move just the part which are connected in a good distance. Okay, it's thinking about saving for myself, and you see I'm just connecting this part slightly to the model, trying to be okay close. It will give an extra point of contact for the model. Okay, then I will duplicate that one and subtool, duplicate. I will doing a mirror of it. Deformations, mirror, but mirror on the z-axis if I'm not wrong. Yep. I want to reinitialize my rotation. I'm pressing the Alt key, clicking on rotate, and now it's back on the good one, and I can continue to use my move topological brush. Okay, let me look at the chat times to times. Hi, Kyle. I didn't notice that you've been there. Then I will, you see, as I have a lot of pinching, then probably my polygons are very close to each other. Then let's use my inflate brush just to inflate a little bit. And here with just few points, I can use my, oops. Okay, I switch back to the Japanese keyboard. My draw size to 2. Okay. Because again, if I have a thickness which is way too thin, it will be problematic for the 3D printing part at the end. And let's move that more on the top. Then for the part, oh, let me just move slightly inside of my model. Okay, to be sure I'll be in contact. I'll do the same for that one. And after I will do the symmetry, and I will refine the symmetry as well. It's not too big, yeah. And for this part, simply I will load a sphere that I will use the Dynamesh. Append sphere. Oh, sorry, I should have done an insert. Where are you? Okay. Which is way too big. And let's scale everything down. It's so easy now to move everything with the gizmo. Is there a secret tip to avoid changing subtools when you do alt click on the gizmo when you have more subtools displayed? I guess when you do something like that, I don't have the issue at all because I'm taking care about, of course, clicking on the good subtool. The first click will be always to select the subtool, and then the second one will be the subtool orientation. Please keep in mind that I'm pressing the Alt key right now, and it's really about a matter of combination which step you are doing first. Of course, if you have multiple subtools on top of each other on the same location, it may be tricky. That's why it's always faster to switch back to the draw mode and then doing the alt click than using the gizmo. Another thing you need to keep in mind with the gizmo is when you are also doing Control-Shift to click on the model. Don't forget, it's the same as transpose. If you Control-click on a model like that, you see you have this kind of thing which happen. This Control-Shift is very important when you have multiple polygroups on the model. Let me just do that quickly on that one. I'm doing 2 polygroups, and by doing Control-Shift with the gizmo, let me just remove that, you are able to do a mask of everything except the polygroup you are clicking on it, which is different than when you are in draw mode, where you can hide or unhide some parts of the model. Then the gizmo, like transpose, you need to keep in mind that some actions that you have, like the alt click or control shift click, etc., have different behaviors if you are in move, scale, rotate, then with transpose, or just gizmo mode, and in draw mode. Then just keep in mind. Okay. Then for this small knot, that's not what I wanted to do. Move. I will do something very similar to what I did before. Okay, let's just switch to Boolean, to Dynamesh. What will be the resolution? It's way too small. Yeah, that's a matter of resolution. Okay. And I will put back my transparency. Just to do something quick, which go around. You see, for this kind of shapes, you don't need to spend quite some time on that because it will be very small at the end on the model. Of course, all the details have their own importance. They are very important to give the final look of the model, but don't spend hours and hours on things which will be something like 3 millimeters, 4 millimeters. You see, for this size, it may be not that small. If I bring back the model, it will be, yes, 4-5 millimeters, not that much. Then, yeah, it will be visible. And I need to put some high contrast on my details. Oops. And when I mean high contrast, I need to do these large details to be very visible. For the model, let me remove my transparency. Okay, I did a Control D to subdivide, and I will pick my damn standard brush. You see, and that's going around. And edge polish slightly. I will switch to solo mode. Oops. I need to remove my, what did I do? Edge polish, draw size. Why it's to nothing? Why did I lost my brush? What did I do with my right click? Intensity, size, focal shift, there is no reason. And if you have some time, let's say a brush which does nothing, you don't know why, let's pick your brush, you go in the brush palette, let me remove my pure ref, and at the end you have reset current brush, and click on it and it should, you see, reinitialize your brush. I don't know what I did, to be honest, but like that I'm able to start over with my brush without spending hours to try to figure out what's going on. Okay, and I will do my usual clay polish, and that solo mode. It's a bit, yeah. too hard. Then now we do the symmetry, and then I will refine both of them. Let me just doing some modifications a little bit. And again, I will do some quick prints in low resolution just to see if it looks okay or not before doing the last print. There is another reason why I'm doing all of these quick prints with this kind of model is because the end model will be printed in 25 microns, not 100 microns per layer. And it means that for each millimeters, if you print at 25 microns, you will have 4 times more layers to print. It's way longer, and it's you have at the bottom of the resin tank, you have some silicones, and this silicone layer is very sensitive to the laser. And each time you need to print, then the laser will burn slightly this silicone layer, and the more the silicone layer is burned, the more it becomes blurry and a little bit white, and then you start to lose in quality. And of course, by printing more layers, this resin tank will be just dead way more faster than printing at 100 microns. That's why it's important to print 100 microns just to see the result without using too much time, and also without spending too much money in resin tank, which is something like $79, which is quite expensive. You are printing something like 2 liters of resin maximum with a resin tank, and at 100 microns and at 25 microns, you may trash it before the end of your first liter of resin. Then for this print, for sure, when I will do the final print, I will start with a new resin tank, probably for the final print. And to be honest, with the Form 2, you can very easily see the quality of the details, the shape, and all this kind of stuff by printing at 100 microns. You really don't need to change the resolution to something which is crazy, just as a test. No, still move topology. Need to have one on top of the others. Then probably I will do a cut and printing only this part on top of this area. Another reason why you are printing in multiple parts, I think I already told it, but by doing that, you have way more control on the painting part. Because if you want to paint, let's say, the body in gray and this part in white, if you want to mask everything, you will spend a lot of time by just doing the masking. While if you print in multiple parts, just need to just print separately, and after you just do the assembly with everything done together. Okay, then let's do the opposites. Okay, it needs some love, but so far it will be enough. Then let's do mirror and weld. Geometry, modify topology, mirror and weld for that one, mirror and weld, and mirror and yes, I have multiple levels of subdivision, I forgot about that. The lower, and mirror and weld. And let me save my Z tool. But this is in fact the 11th, not the 9th, the 10th. Let me look at the chats at the same time. Sigil Crush, no. ZBrush 4R8 is fully 64 bits. there is no more 32-bit version of ZBrush. That's why it's now on Windows, at least in the program folder and not in program file folder and not program file x86. Fulikili, yes, the escape brush are from Sakaki Kaoru. Then if you're looking for Sakaki workshops online, you will find his website where the brush are, you're able to download them. If I'm not wrong, in the first or second video of this series, I gave the link in description in YouTube. Then let me look at that. If you look about this brush, Sakaki Kaoru, and Kaoru, okay, and you see this is the second link. And if you are browsing his website, you have in the download section, you will find the brushes. You see, you have Sakaki slash all the brushes, etc. Then even if it's in Japanese, I guess you can understand that this is a folder that you need to click on it to download the files. And speaking of that, recently he posted on Twitter, and you can follow him on Twitter, which is Sakaki Kaoru, if I remember. He posted a mannequin. I think is it on this computer? Nope. You can look on his Twitter account. He posted a character, like a mannequin character with joints, an anime character that he did, which is perfect for ZBrush for R8 because you're able to manipulate multiple subtools at the same time. I will try to put the link in description. I'm sorry. Okay. Then let me refine that to do something which won't be symmetrical, and starting to doing some quick deformations. Move brush. Let's go to the move topological brush. Yeah, the idea is to have something slightly different on both sides, just to kill the symmetry. Nothing prevents you to use some modifiers like the FFD box if you want. You have a lot of ways to do this kind of things. Okay. These are always the kind of details which takes time to do. Then, okay, I'm going more inside, trying to fix. Let me reconstruct the subdivision levels. And sorry, I need to see my topology sometimes to do my edits. Another reason is because I don't want to break too much my topology. Why? Because when I'm doing my 3D prints, I need to take care about all the overlaps and other stuff. Something else that you may not know, if you put the radius size to the minimum with the move brush, it moves everything. That's why just before I said, okay, I need to put 2 and not 1. And not everybody is aware of this possibility with the brush. and I want to fix this kind of small thickness issues before moving to the details, which won't be that big, but it's important to fix as much as possible before adding your wrinkles or folds and things like that, whatever the model. After it will give you more difficulties, more issues to fix. Better to work with few vertices like that than too much at the end. Okay, it should be nice, good enough at least. Okay, then no, just changing a little bit. Yeah, let's be a little bit more natural at least. And now what I will do, I will just use the divide and not dynamic subdivisions anymore, because I want to sculpt. And when you want to sculpt, of course, you need to have real polygons, while dynamic subdivision, as a reminder, is just, let's say, a visual smoothing. You are not working on the resulting points. While when you are doing the divide, you are working, of course, on these points. I will divide something like, yeah, something, this type of resolution. And I will do very quick folds. You see, just that way. Let me switch to transparency. Very quickly. I don't think there is a lot of details on that part. Oops, I was in negative and not positive. To be honest, I don't think the internal part will be very visible. And I want to change it with the thickness on the side. Okay, now let's do the other side. Then same as before. I really like this brush because it's great. That's why it's named Cloth from Sakaki Kaoru, because it's very soft and it's working great when you are combining that after with the clay polish, which gives some angles and make that a little bit less soft than it was before. Let me just going over the top like that. And now let's do my clay polish once, twice. Okay. You see, it's kind of quick to do these kind of things. And don't forget that it will be visible at that. Let me check with my screen. No, it's even smaller. If you are right now in full screen by watching the stream, okay, what you see right now is the size in the real world. I'm in HD resolution, of course. And if you see the stream in this resolution, this is the final size of the model. And you see the small folds. You don't need to put way too much detail on that. Let me remove the transparency. You see, like that, it's way enough. I just need to round a little bit the bottom part. Because it may be a bit more natural. Okay. And same for the other one. And I know I should be able, oh, mosquito. I should be able to do everything in symmetry, but I prefer to keep something which will be more, again, more natural. Take care about the thickness. And then need to smooth a little bit. And the last one. A bit too much. I will fix the thickness part after. Yeah, I really love this brush for that. Then clay polish, and I will be able to refine this part. Yeah, for that part this is too strong. I don't really like this kind of triangle shape. I need to fix that a little bit. Oops, should have done that earlier. Move, 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 Thomas. Okay, let's stay like that. Okay, let me bring back my references, and now let's do the big knot on front, which will be kinda similar. I don't know which way I will do that. If I'm doing the same technique again. Let me save first. Then, because I need to think about how the knot is attached to the model. I think I don't know if I do something which will go just all around or just doing the knot on front. I think I will stick with just the knot right now on front of the model, and later I will see with perhaps something else. I think I will reuse these kind of things, which are in fact too big. It's too big. I need to make that a little bit smaller. I mean, in terms of width. Okay. Then I will duplicate that one. Subtool. Duplicate. Move. Let me remove my perspective. Activate symmetry and local sim. That's why I really love the new gizmo. It's so faster and so easy to do these kind of things now. Yeah, sorry, I was thinking at the same time. Trying to put that kind of symmetrical. Oh, I need to increase the scale. Let me put draw. While reinventing the wheel. Again and again, while you can reuse what you did. If you're scaling in 2 axes using Alt and then press Shift, you can scale incrementally. Hello, Ashley. Then, oops, not very nice here. Because I did my stuff based on the shape which was in the background, which is not here anymore. Let's move that to the back. And I need to consider as well that it will be, I mean, where I will need to put these knots. I guess I put that in contacts. And I need to think about what I will put on the back. There is another reason, is when I printed this model, you don't really see it in, let me just put back the arm like that. When I printed this model, let's say from the back like that, and I had a lot of support because of these small lines. Each time one of these lines had to grow, the printer need to put some support, and I had a bunch of support, and perhaps I can remove these kind of things very quickly. Okay. Then it starts to be very hot in my office. And what I need to do as well is be very careful about not touching these articulations, because I will, like I said at the beginning of this stream, it will be articulated. I need to leave some room to connect everything. Let me smooth that a little bit, using the Sakaki cloth just to dig a little bit inside. Oops. To smooth slightly my model. And now for the knots, like before, I will insert just below a sphere, which is again way too big. I will scale it down, put it on front. And I will keep, sorry, let me. Yeah, it's something which is very useful for those who have a Wacom tablet, and especially a Cintiq, because I have 30 degrees Celsius in my office right now. I'm starting to sweat a little bit. And this kind of accessory can be very useful. And even when it's not too hot, you have it's sliding way better. Then now let's move that back to the model. Move topological. There is not a lot of people who are using this brush why it's so convenient, because when you are doing this kind of deformation, you are not in the need of using the backface masking and this kind of stuff. And really give it a try. You will see it will work as a regular move brush, but there is a but. The downside is when you are clicking and dragging, it's trying to evaluate the shape and looking about the distance of this masking, topological masking, which is, as a reminder, oops, let me remove my reference. You have in the auto masking, you have the backface masking, but more important, you have the topological masking, which is below, and you have this range. And the higher the range is, of course, the more the brush needs to compute everything. And then if you have a lot of polygons and a high resolution model, then the brush will be slow. Then it's great to work with low and medium resolution, not in high resolution. Okay, then. Transparency. Don't forget that this kind of shape will be visible like that, roughly. Let me check again. Which is another resolution. Another reason why I'm doing this kind of test print, because very quickly I'm able to work with a scale that I can compare with something in the real world. Then it will be very, very small for this kind of shape. No, Doug, I won't start singing. To be honest, when I was young, I did a lot of music, and I've been to the I don't know the name, the music school, from the city where I was, and it was for me forbidden to sing. In fact, I have a very horrible voice. No, the real reason is I have some trouble with my throat, and if I sing too much, I'm just killing my throat. But it was for me something great. Why, I would love to sing, to have a nice voice and singing like a lot of people. Unfortunately, it's not for me. You will know everything from my life. And move that white's too much inside. Yeah, I think I overdid that. Let me remove the transparency. Move that slightly inside. Oh, I forgot that I need to put the falling parts. And then speaking of that, I should change. Yeah, it's falling more down like that. Yeah, I will try to remember about singing a song on stage of the ZBrush Summit. Can be a good idea. Okay, then what does it give if I'm putting some clay polish? Yeah, no. Okay. Then for the parts on front, I will do the same as before. Subtool, insert, and then that one, what I will do, initialize, quick cube. Let's do the same. No, 2 and 1 if I remember. Quick cube. Oh, it's too much, I think. Let's go to 10. And I will do it on the right side of the character as usual because of the symmetry. Trying to put everything in place as much as possible before using my brushes. And directly I'm doing my Control D 2 or 3 times. Just to start with something. Another reason why I'm not using so far, at least some deformers that I did at the beginning, is because they don't work with multiple levels of subdivision. And for what I'm doing, it may be tricky to use them. Then sometimes just using the regular deformation tools like the move brush is enough for what you want to do. then draw. Need to move it a little bit. Let me hide this part. I need to speed up a little bit because I still have to do all the other accessories. And I don't want to spend too much time on that. I will scale that down a little bit. Let me move that, change the rotation. And so far, what are your thoughts about ZBrush for 8, if you already tried it? Inflate, I will inflate slightly the model. Okay. Then now let's put back the other model and trying to adapt to it. I don't have a problem to have this model which are overlapping just on these areas to give more strength to the print. But of course I need to be very careful to be still on top. Then let's do the symmetry. I need to kill my subdivision levels. Geometry, delete lower, modify topology, mirror and weld, no, Toma without the local symmetry. It will be better. And now I can refine, reconstruct. Let's do some differences. To a different model. Just one question for people in the chat. I just stopped to use to put some music in the background because sometimes, of course, I'm not really talking, or perhaps I should stop talking. Do you prefer to have some music in the background or just without music and having some blanks? Just let me know what you prefer for the next time. Okay, no music. Okay, Doug. Okay, ZBrush for 8 came out too early. To be honest, you have so many people who complain about when to be released, blah blah blah. I didn't expect this kind of answer of replies. Okay, then I will keep without music. So far it seems that it's better without music. Then let's do again some folds. My cat tries to enter in the office. I don't know if you hear the noise. The problem is if I open the door, she will want to go out something like 30 seconds after. Clay polish. Okay, I need to see what I will do to connect everything. That way, I don't like to leave this kind of stuff like that, not connected, but I want to keep everything. Well, what I will do first, I will use my multiple selection mode to select my subtool. Oops. I want to rotate. Oops. I had a mask applied, that's why I had this kind of effect. You need to know that it's now visible in 4.8 that the clay polish is applying a small mask on the model. And of course, if you are moving your model, you see what you see right now is a mask which is very small, is doing this kind of things, and I need to redo my steps by selecting. If you want to do the selection of multiple subtools, just need to enable this mode to transpose all selected subtool here, and using the Ctrl-Shift key just to select what you want to move together, and then you can do your transformation that way. Don't forget about just killing your selection when you're done. Now I can slightly doing this modifications. That way I need to be very careful about the part, like I said before, which are connecting to the rotation part. Okay, it's not touching. Because I really want to keep these articulations to work. Okay, I think I will later doing kind of band of material going around like that, like you attach. Sorry, I'm really lacking of vocabulary, unfortunately, but try to do something which we go around with a small knot on the, I mean, not a knot, but just going around some fabrics. Sorry, going around. Okay, then, oops, not what I wanted to do. then so far, let's say I'm close to be done with that. I will just save. Perhaps I will later just making this not being smaller, not that thick in terms of width, refining that a little bit, and of course just fixing everything for the arms and fingers. But let's say I'm close to be done. Then let's do the other accessories, and of course first saving what I'm doing. Okay. No pixel projectile, this SK cloth brush is not from me, this is from Sakaki Kaoru. I will put the description, sorry, the description. I will put in the video description on YouTube when it will be live, this one probably tomorrow night. I will put the link for the SK brushes. Okay, then let's go back to PureRef, and for the references, then what I will start to do will be this this stuff. I don't know the name in English, sorry, un ballet in French. If you don't know that, if you know the name, just please let me know. Then I will do that separately, and after I will try to scale and put that in the scene. For that, I will, if someone can give me the name in English of this object, it would be great. Like that I can use a good name. I should have checked earlier, to be honest. Okay, I will start with a new tool and project, and I will just kill this one. I just saved it earlier, and then in subtool I will do a delete all. Okay, then I trash everything. Then I can start from scratch with this one, and I will set that as at least a French name. Broom. Yeah, correct. I forgot, but I already saw that name in some books. Okay, then let's start with a simple. No, I will do the head first, all these kind of things. And I will do the same as I did before. I will start with initialize, and like I said 2, it was 20 that I think I did, and 1, and doing a quick cube. Okay, and I will scale that, which is way too small right now. Okay, like that. It will be my reference. Let's use my ZBrush like I did before, to a little bit more polygons to be sure that it will be okay. I'm removing my perspective, changing the thickness, and let me see. Using my deformer brush, and I will, oops, sorry, I will switch to my gizmo. Ooh, gizmo, why I don't have, okay, let's do that without the symmetry. I don't know why. Anyway, it's a bit larger. I want the gizmo. Sorry. Just to change a little bit all of that, and need to put my symmetry. I have some hard time today, to be honest. Why my symmetry is not working, I don't know why. Okay, symmetry, Doesn't work? I don't know. Okay. Let's do that the old way without the symmetry. Okay. Then what I just did was a template. I thought I did my modification, but it seems I did too many undos. Okay, then I have my template and I will be able to do my deformation that way. And what I will do with my subtools, I will duplicate and keep the original one as a reference. And now we'll use my bend curve. I already have the preferences for the last one, and I'm able to do my my deformations. And for each one, I will do this kind of modifications. I can use a smooth, you see, that way to make the result a little bit nicer. Then I have one. The only thing I will do is I will try to keep everything not twist so much. You want to use that one. A bit smaller at the beginning to put everything together. Okay, that way. Then I have one. I can duplicate that one. No, I want to be in gizmo mode. Then duplicate. And again, I will use the same process for everything. Then I will use my bend curve. I'll do something on the other side. Then I really love this kind of tool because to do some deformations, it's way faster than the other methods inside of ZBrush. Then let's change again the thickness. Of course, you can duplicate some of them. Then I'm okay with that one. What I can do, I can duplicate it because I won't redo everything again and again. I will switch back to my bend curve, which has been stored. Let's do it a bit of smoothing. You see the process, it's very, very quick to do that way. And let me switch back to my gizmo. I prefer always switching back to the gizmo before doing a copy. And then oops, I have my symmetry still active, which is useless. No, let me just do something like that. And then back to my bend curve. What I will try to be very careful is about, of course, the length, and again, like I said before, the thickness. I need to be very, very, very careful about that because this is a long model. And you see, I will break this part just below here, and I will print everything, and everything needs to be printed the good way all together, because it will be let's say very difficult, because I need to print that in just one part. It will move a lot, and I will need to have a lot of supports, then after a lot of cleaning, and it's not an easy part. Then I will try to match as much as possible, you see below, to have a lot of connection between all parts to give some strength in between. And probably I will try to do this kind of things, you see, just touching some parts all together. To be sure that they will be connected like that. We'll have just some parts which won't be connected, and then after it will reconnect before ending. Then it's something I will need to do as much as possible. And the other reason why I'm doing all these subtools is because, again, I'm able to go back and say, okay, I want this one finally to do something more like that. I still have access to my curves modifiers. I can even, I think this is this one. This is squeeze. You can squeeze your model. You can change the scale as well if you want. Okay, let's validate. Gizmo 3D, duplicate, and like that. I'm switching back to my bend curve like I did before. Why do I have two models like that? Ah, sorry. Symmetry was on. Feel free to start bending your models, of course, in a kind of progressive way. Going back and forth. Oops. That's why you see this smooth is great to refine your shape. And probably I try to yeah, I need to connect some parts. I will see later when I will do almost everything to see how I can do that. That one, let me duplicate. Switch back to Gizmo 3D because I need to do something on the other side as well. Now bend curve. You see, nothing very complex. As soon as you understand how these deformers are working and the benefits, it's very quick to refine what you're doing. Oops. Let me save that to then broom. So 2. What do you mean by rotate a part of a subtool? I mean, you have multiple ways to do that. You have the mask, you have transpose, you have the gizmo, you have these modifiers, you have a lot of ways to do that. What I may do is perhaps duplicating more. I really want to have something which is very rounded in all the directions, and I will duplicate that one. Duplicate without the symmetry again. Switching to gizmo. Then bend curve. Feel free to do the smoothing multiple parts if you really want to go back to an initial state. Yeah, I'm trying. In fact, I will do right now is a kind of global volume and then refine inside of the model. I think it would be perhaps better that way. I have one. Now let's duplicate again, switch back to the gizmo. And like before, bend curve. We need to avoid to have something which looks way too much a copy of the other ones. Let me smooth that a little bit. Start to have some shape. Yeah, not that good. Let's now fill the holes. Need to go more on that direction. Yeah, this kind of stuff is kind of long to do, unfortunately, because this is always the same steps. And I really want to merge down everything and refine everything, but not sure it would be a smart idea. let's go to the outside and let's connect. Yeah, I need to start to connect stuff. Okay, that one, duplicate. Let me change the size slightly. You see nothing really complex. Again, I'm sorry I'm repeating myself, but it's not that difficult. Then where will I connect everything? One thing which is very important, something that we presented during the 4R8 presentation. Let me just go down and I will insert a cube. That way, let me just convert that to a classical quick cube, because the topology, I don't like the topology of the primitive cube. Scale, like that, and I'm going on top. And this quick cube, I will then put that just at the end, and I will set the subtool as a -1, and now I will enable the live Boolean, and I will hide the polymesh 3D. And now when you move down, you see this kind of slashing stuff. Then by doing that, this is what the printer will do. The printer will start to print this kind of shape and then growing, 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 growing. And by seeing that, you know where you may have some issues or where you will need to have some support, then where you need to give some strength to your model. Then it's better to define your design first by adding in your design some strength to the structure than being dependent of the 3D printing software to add some support that you will need to remove at the end, that you will need to send, etc., etc. Then it's better to do this kind of stuff and see, okay, you see so far it's kind of connected and then it's splitted. And starting at this stage, you see that this one now starts to be connected. Then it's okay, but everything else, this is very, very long. This one are very, very long before being connected again. Then I have the outside, but I will need to be very careful about having some part internally which are just kind of connected together. Then I can remove my live Boolean and I can hide this subtool. But this is one of my favorite thing that I'm doing with the 3D printing. I did that for the robot, and I will do that a lot for the other, for the 3D printing process to prepare everything. I need to do some stuff. Okay, around it, I need to run on this area. Let me duplicate again. And switch back to bend curve. What I want to do right now is to define the global volume. You see, I want to have a kind of, not sphere, but circle around the center area. Then I need to refine everything. Okay. I'm connecting, and you see I'm connecting here, this one. Now I need to connect perhaps more inside of the model. Okay, rounded. I need to have more items here. Let me duplicate that one. And then curve. I need to remove my right-click menu. And you see that one, I can try to, you see, trying to connect it a bit more. Like that. You see this one, this one, this one, and this one, they are connected. I need to connect, it's connected here, this one here. Duplicate. Now I start to fill the holes. And you don't need to have a lot of points of contact to do this kind of things. You don't need that much. Just something like 1 millimeter is enough to give some strength. Because for your information, supports, the touch point is between 0.6 to 0.4 millimeters. Then if you have 1 millimeter, it's equivalent to have 2 supports in terms of strength. And it's already good to do something like that. And of course, if you have 2 models connecting to each other, growing together, then it's even better. And that's why now I have this system. I can go back to the live Boolean mode, and like I did before, oops, sorry, not a good subtool. Let me remove the polyframe. I'm able to see better what is going on. You see now it's connecting here, but if I want to connect more of these parts, I can go back to the oops, I can't use it. I'm not on the good subtool, sorry. You see, that way, and bend curve. You see, I see the curve of the model, which is connected here, and I can I can move like that dynamically to see better the connection point in between. And that's why the live Boolean is very convenient, because you can do this kind of things. So the problem is sometimes it's not very easy to select the subtool, then bend curve, then this one, and you see it that way. Okay, let me remove the live Boolean mode. Okay, what I need so far is to add something like 5 or 10 more. I will do a little bit more just to finish, and after I will do everything else, and I will refine that just offline, because it's again always the same thing. Duplicate. Let me bring back my polyframe. Yeah, I'm always working with the polyframe in this kind of usage because I see better my model, because there is a lot of subtools. And feel free to connect to other subtool. What I mean by that is because it's inside, I can try to touch, you see, this one and perhaps another one, just to give some contact. And don't forget, it will be inside of the model. Then it won't be as visible as what is outside. Then it's kind of small tricks like that. Then I can touch, you see, this one a little bit. Okay, and let me do the other parts because it's already late. Let me save that. Save as my broom, sorry, not groom. Okay, and the other parts, nothing complex at this stage. What I will do, I will duplicate again the last one. Not my cube, but this one. Duplicate. I can move that down, and what I will do, I will simply select this cylinder 3D. Why did I duplicate it? It's because when you are using this these parametric models, it will just replace the existing model, except if everything has been masked. That's why it's very important to duplicate first. It's really replacing what you're doing, and then you can change the resolution that way. Okay, then I'm fine with that. Well, yeah, I will stick with that. Gizmo 3D, Shift key to constrain the rotation. Then you give me for later more information about what I will do. I will keep the symmetry, and then I will refine later if needed. Draw, insert, I do bevel. Let's do some bevel. Edge loop complete. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that way. And now I will duplicate. Oops, not move, sorry. Control Shift D, move that way, and again I will convert that to a cylinder 3D. I remove this part. I will increase the vertical resolution. Okay, then I'm happy with that. Switching to Gizmo 3D. A bit too big. Oops. I'll scale that down a little bit more. Just going down. I don't know for the size, it's very difficult to evaluate the size of the model. It's something I will refine anyway when it will be with the character. Let's bevel that. Let's insert. Come on, Thomas. Insert an edge loop. I will doing the same thing. I will Q mesh a poly loop. And beveling again. to avoid some smoothing issues, I will doing the same on top. Because if you apply some smoothing, you see that because there is not enough polygon, it will just make the shape more smooth than it should be. That's why I'm inserting some extra edge loops. Solid mode. Okay, then you see the difference between right now. Everything is really of course the thickness is very important, but I need to keep that very thick. And if I see that I have too much thickness on my model, then I will change that. To do that, I can try this Q mesh. Is my polygroup island. Okay, you see you can Q mesh, but if you are pressing the shift key, you can move in and out. Then you can just changing a little bit the thickness that way. Then you push inside, and I will just need to doing the same thing on the other side, and perhaps removing an edge loop around to do this kind of things. But I will do that just for the main ones which are very visible, not the one which are outside. And for the final shape globally, to do kind of rounding effect, I will just collapse everything as a single subtool and using the FFD box just to stretch everything. Okay, save as room 4. Yes, the Boolean method I'm using, I'm answering the lintal questions. Yes, doing this kind of, it's this kind of things, like doing this live Boolean stuff. Avoid me the need to go to another software just to check that my model, the hollowing has been well made, or that I don't have, I have enough thickness, or these parts are connecting each other, or trying to anticipate the orientation of my model. Just to give you an idea for this broom head, I won't print the broom, like I said before, in one part. I will have the head and this kind of stick done separately. But for the head, I won't print it vertically like that. I will give some angle. To give you an example, if I'm doing my transpose line, I will print something like that with such angle. And right now, this is only my camera which I tilted. Then if I'm going back to the gizmo, and I'm moving my cube. Where is my cube? Why I don't see? Okay, you see, right now I did this angle, but my cube is not on the good direction. Let me just move back that way, and let me rotate like that. Then the printing, sorry. Then the printing process will be done that way, with this angle that you see on the beginning. And when I will print, what I see right now is what, let me just hide this part. If I'm printing my model, this is what the printer will print right now. And you see that it starts to print, and after this part, oops, sorry, I'm doing my rotation. Okay, and you see it print this shape, then this shape, and then you have all this part going together. But the problem is when you start to print that way, all these kind of things, you have a lot of small areas, and you may need some extra support just to hold that. While if you fill everything inside and not having a kind of opening, but just a closed cylinder, then you won't see this kind of shape just growing. you won't see this kind of thing. And it may be important to replace this open cylinder by just a cylinder which is filled by material. Another trick, which is not very nice one, but which will work the same way, is let me duplicate that one. And if I'm scaling down this model, you see, you can duplicate some parts of the model, you see. Then this is a kind of not good trick, but I mean, not a good trick. How can I say that? It's a quick trick, but you can see in real time what are your modifications. Then if I'm duplicating again and filling, sorry, in the other direction, like that, you can start to fill your model. And when you're moving up, you see, then this is the idea. Of course, I did that very quickly. I shouldn't have opened my cylinder at the beginning. Then I will fill that. But it just, by doing that, you will avoid using perhaps 4 or 5 extra supports, which, let's say, is not that much, but this is a resin that you will cure. Then you will lose this resin. It's more support to remove, more sandings, and this kind of thing. Then that's why it's very important. And in fact, let me remove these ones, delete, okay. Because don't forget that I will have the stick which will go inside of the head, and for this stick I will need anyway to hollow everything, because I want after to plug that together, these two parts together. And I will clean all this kind of process at the end. Let me switch back to my model and let's reorient my subtool to the good direction. Then I'm using a lot this kind of small trick to edit my model and seeing so far what are the results of my my slicing. Then I don't use, and not I don't use, but I'm not using a lot anymore slicing software. And in fact, I was using Preform for my Form 2 printer just to check these kind of things. But I had to export my model, finding the potential orientation, then slicing, checking everything, going back inside of ZBrush. Now I can do everything inside of ZBrush. Okay, so a lot of talk for that. Okay, then now I'll do the other parts. I will do that and that. This one is very easy and quick to do. Let's do it right now. It will be mainly the Z modeler. Initialize, quick cube, regular one. That way. Let's put the symmetry on. Okay, then I will Q-mesh flat island. That way, a little bit more again, and let me Q-mesh a single poly. That way. Now I will select these ones and with the gizmo, where are you gizmo? You are here. I will just refine the shape. I may not do exactly like it should be, but to be honest, I don't care. I should have just select everything here as well. Yeah, that's why I really love the ZModeler, because it's pretty quick to use for this kind of stuff. Let me slide this edge loop complete. Slide edge loop complete. Why I can't slide my edge loop? Okay, I'm in Japanese keyboard. Yeah, I don't know why. Well, let's insert. Ah, the add, the sub. Okay. Then I will do my thickness. Polygroup, polyloop. Come on. Now I will QMesh polygroup all. Let me bevel a little bit everything. And let's try to see what it looks like. Let me increase the size just below. Yeah, I'm still using a lot the masking and all this kind of classic ways of doing things with ZBrush, because it's working perfectly. And let's go back to my that way, and let's add a single edge loop in between. Don't forget that you can press Alt and click directly to just relocate the gizmo where you want, and then after you can reorient if you want with Alt and the rotation icon that way. And let me bend that a little bit because it's slightly bent. Okay. I don't know if, yeah, it's draw. And with my QMesh polyloop, I will go a little bit inside. That way. It's very just a little bit, but I know it will be visible with the printer, and I'm very careful with this kind of small shapes like that. The only problem, it may add some support on one area. Then perhaps I will refine that slightly later. And I think it's a bit too big here. And I don't know the name of that in English. Again. Oops. Yeah, I did. Okay, let's add some extra details. Not that much, but slightly. What I will do, I will insert multiple edge loops, interactive elevation. No. And you see you can go inside that way. Okay, then that's done. Yes, I have the Japanese language on my computer, and when you are doing Alt and Shift, Windows is switching between the languages that you have, and then it brings some issues, to be honest. A squeegee? I'm not sure about the pronunciation of that. A squeegee? Yeah, not sure. It's where you see that you are lacking some vocabulary in English. Une raclette in French. Okay, then let me save that as a squeegee. Sorry, I can't stop when I see some kind of stuff like that, because I want to refine. Okay. And you see this kind of shape is, I mean, it's quite fast to build with the ZModeler. There is no need to switch, at least for me, to another software just to do this kind of shapes. Squeegee. Okay. It's not, I make it look easy to model. I mean, it's easy to model. I started with a cube, just mainly extrusion. After, it's more up to you if you want to move some vertices or adding some edge loop to break the smoothing, but there is nothing very complex with that. And now if I add some real smoothing with that, you see it's with the perspective it will be better. And now it's done. Okay. Now, ZBrush, I generate my support in Preform, the software for my printer. I did a long time ago my support with these fields inside of ZBrush at the beginning of the development of the of Preform, the software then for the Form 1 printer. At that time, it was something like 4 years ago now. Because software was not as powerful as it is now, and it was a real pain to work with the support. And in fact, you had no way to have custom support that you are able to add or remove. Then you were dependent of the software. And because ZBrush can have very complex details, a lot of times the software was missing some parts which were growing without support. Then it leads to failed prints. Fortunately, now you are able to edit yourself your support, and I will show that when I will start to do the printing process. Anyway, That's why when I'm saying to a lot of people don't understand why I'm promoting the Form 2 printer. Yes, we have in ZBrush this bridge with preform, but just personally, the Form 2 printer I have, I paid it full price. In fact, a coworker and myself, we bought it together. I had it's not a prison for preform. And if I want to say something bad, I can say. But to be honest, it's a full ecosystem. This is something that you have the software, you have the printer, you have the cleaning tools that I can't afford to pay. But if you're a professional, it's interesting. And for me, you have the software behind, which is done by the company. And I see, and this is a printer I want to test. You have the Wanahu printer, the Duplicator 7, which is a Chinese printer based on a UV projector and a screen. Then you have the UV light going through a LCD screen, which is a high resolution screen. And then you have a resin similar to the Form 2 and Form 1 printer, which is sensitive to the UVs. And then this light will cure, and of course the LCD screen will work as a mask to print parts or protecting for light other parts. And this printer is I think something like $500 for the printer, the projector, everything. Of course, you need to pay the shipping from China. You have some resellers worldwide now, but you are using OpenDLP, if I remember, something like that, which is an open source software. I tried a long time ago, and yes, it's free, it's great, but you are so far from what Preform is doing just for the supports. And for each resin you're using, you need to set up the curing time and all this kind of thing. Then if you have a lot of time, you are not a professional, you are not looking for productivity, and you are fine about spending a lot of time fine-tuning your printers and all these kind of things, finding the good curing time for a specific type of resin, all these kind of things. Yeah, it's a great deal. But if you don't have the time and you have a printer, you want it to work straight out of the box, then you need to look to, let's say, more professional printer. I don't like to using professional, but because this Wanahu printer produces professional results, but you really need to fine tune it. And when I see, I subscribe to some groups on Facebook, and when you see the messages, people who have failures and issues with that, on the side of people having great results, but it's a lot of stuff. Then for me, this price of the Form 2 printer is justified because you have something which is just working and you have a real support behind. Then that's why I purchased this printer. I could find a printer which is less expensive, perhaps which is more accurate in terms of details, but I don't want to spend hours and hours of time that I don't have just to set up everything. Okay, then now for this model, this one, which will be also very easy. Again, I will print in three parts probably: the cloves, the cylinder, and the handle, because I want to print the handle separately after to plug it together. Then for that, okay, let's move cylinder 3D, which is way too big. Well, no, it will be okay that way. Go back to Gizmo 3D. I will do my rotation, oops, sorry, to 90 degrees, and I will slide my edge loop complete. I will give some thickness to that anyway. Now I want to extrude everything inside, then I will Q-mesh, oops, this inner part. Let me check. You have the flat inner part, which is doing the same, if I'm not wrong. Flat inner part, yeah, she's doing the same thing. And you see that it's going just through the model, because I'm using the Q-mesh, and the Q-mesh detection is working based on the size of the brush. And if I'm increasing my size of the brush, oops, now I'll go to Flat Island. it should be slower to detect the area. But I want to keep some kind of thickness because it won't be visible anyway. And I'm even stupid because I need to put the water stuff on top. Then I need to mesh flat inner, not too far, something like that, and I will put the water on top and then everything else. Okay. What I will do, I will add a deformer, the taper one. You see, just to give a little bit of shape. See, you can change the exponents. See if I'm doing something which is more crazy. You see, straight or not. That's why these deformers are great for this kind of stuff. Now I will bevel everything. Now it's okay. For the handle, I think I will use the modeler as well. Let me think about that. Okay, subtool, append, whatever, polymesh 3D. I will do my quick cube, initialize quick cube at just 1, 1, and 1 quick cube, which is, let me display the transparency, move, positive. That way, I'm stretching it a little bit. Now I will do a mirror and weld geometry, modify topology, mirror and weld, and have it on the other side. I enable the symmetry. I'll go back to my Z modeler. I will delete the top polygon. That way, let me display properties, double side, and now I will use my bridge, 2 holes, and let's try the arc 1. Then let's 1. Yeah, that way. Okay. Then I may just change the thickness because again I need to consider all the problematic with the 3D printing part. Draw, I will insert a single edge loop that way, oops. And let's bevel. See if I smooth, this is what I have. Then let's bevel and insert multiple edge loops. And I should be in contact. Then what I can add is, well, no, I won't add stuff. That's okay for now. Shift D, insert a single edge loop. And I will Q mesh my poly loop. And again, let me bevel. But here I will delete sorry, insert single edge loop, and that one move. Let me remove the symmetry and center and scale it a little bit to be that way. We like to move the internal part. Yeah. Taper. Yeah, because I need to think about the white or the water. Yeah, the problem is I don't want to bend. I have no way to use the exponent for that. I don't know why my symmetry doesn't work. Not in mirror mode. Okay, Gizmo 3D. Then I will do the kind of cloth parts. Subtool. Insert. And what is the name of that? I don't know in English. Sorry, I'm asking you all the vocabulary, I'm sorry. Initialize 2x1 quick cube. Then what I will do now is I will subdivide without the smoothing twice, and now with the smoothing to have enough polygon. Then I have something like 1,000 of polygons. I will delete my subdivision levels, and I will start to bend everything. Then to do that, I will use my bend curve. To do something like that. That way, no. Again, this is a part that I will print separately because I will have some issues if I'm not careful. Now let's switch to the deformer. I will increase slightly the vertical and horizontal resolution. Without the symmetry it will be better. And that's why you can do some quick folding by just moving some vertices of the control shape. And of course after you can sculpt everything. The only downside that we need to keep in mind is this deformer box. If you change the resolution during the process, it will kill your deformations. You won't have any more your deformation, it will just reset everything. Then be very careful about that. And then later you can use your move brush as usual to do your stretching. Okay, then switch back to the regular move brush. The good thing about these deformers is, of course, they are global deformers, meaning that you are not really stretching your model in small areas. You have something which is more progressive along the deformation, while the move brush is more local. Then of course there is pro and cons in each solution, but you see, to prepare everything, it's not that bad. Okay, then now I can divide and using my brushes. Japanese keyboard again. My clay polish, then perhaps I need to make that a little bit more flowing. I don't know how to say that, but not being too much plain. That's why I need to be very careful about this shape, how I will connect it later. Okay, now it's kind of thick, a little bit too thick, but I have no choice. Let's make that a little bit less thick by just smoothing the border. It will give the feeling that the borders are very thin, while in between it will be thicker. Then you can pinch as well. My pinch. Then be very careful with the pinch brush, because it's kind of strong. My damn standard brush. It's the kind of shape which are kind of problematic to do. I mean, not the shape, but this kind of, you see, like, I think it was, yeah, this area. You have the feeling that it's, how can I say that? There is kind of break part. And it's important to be careful. Yeah, I was saying that my smooth wasn't doing anything. I don't know why, but I continue to have this Japanese keyboard. Sorry. Why my brush are shifting to another mode. To fix that. Move brush. Okay. A bucket, yeah. Oh, sorry. The worst is I know this kind of vocabulary, but this is not something that I'm using on a daily basis. In English at least. Now let me just save that. Okay, now let's do the water. Let me do something very simple and quick. I won't be able to make water, of course, just these small drops that you see here. There is no way to that with the printer because we just fall. Then I need to be very careful, and then it will be done for that part. No, Doug, there is no relationship between Cantonese and Japanese. No, I just know a little bit of Japanese. I'm lucky to have some training at home with a Japanese teacher. But my main concern is I have so little time to do again and again my training just to learn. And it's strange, but not strange, but at 40 years old, which is my age, damn, it's so difficult to memorize all this vocabulary. It's very difficult. Anyway, subtool, and now let's insert that, and again I will do a quick cylinder. Let me just move up that way, and this one. Let me display the polyframe. No, don't need to change the radius. Now, I would love spending way more time in learning new languages, and of course Japanese is one of my language of choice. This is a very fantastic language, fantastic cultures, a fantastic country. Of course, not everything is so fantastic, but this is a nice place. You have a lot of crazy ZBrush artists, and when I say crazy, well, crazy artists. Like I said before, I will be at this Wonder Festival trade show. So Wonder Festival is it's twice a year. You have 55,000 of people in just a single day, between 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and just 7 hours. And when you see what these guys are doing with digital and traditional techniques, it's just mind-blowing, really. And of course, ZBrush is very popular in Japan. I love ZBrush. Nope. I will Dynamesh. Geometry, Dynamesh. Right, Dynamesh. I need to redo my custom palette. I lose it with all the modification I did for ZBrush. Hi, A00045 from Brazil. No. Crashing? No crashing? Crashing? Why my resolution is not that big? Oh, yes. Okay, sorry. 32. Yeah, 32 is enough. Okay, then I will take again the cloth one. Because it's great to do some water, I don't know the name. You see? Then you start to have the shape that way. Let me just smooth slightly on the side. Shift D, let me divide, and now update with a higher resolution, let's say 50, 48. And go back to my my Sakaki, why the broom brush, Eski, where are you? Eski cloths. Okay, just to give more contrast. Then if I remove my solo mode, for the other part, I will use my brush insert primitive. Where are you, my brush insert primitive? I'm lost. Where are you? Insert primitive. M key and yes, let's try the capsule one. Rotate. Now let's go back to my insert primitive. Let me just remove my I have some question. I will just reply just after that. Let me just finish. Let me just finish that. I'm not sure about keeping everything like that because it's maybe risky. Let me just draw another capsule. Rotate. And the move brush. Yeah, I need to consider that it will be something like that size. Then let me use the infrared brush. Not sure about keeping everything like it is right now, but well. To be honest, this is the first time that I'm doing water stuff. Let me remove the Dynamesh mode, which is not useful anymore. Dynamesh. I'm just smoothing a little bit because I used the clay polish to give some style at the end, and I want to keep some edges a bit more sharp, but make some of the a little bit softer to look at. And now I will use my soda brush just to do some kind of boundaries. this part is not a big deal. Anyway, okay. Let me save that. Back at 02. Then now let's do something different just to finish, and I will look at the chat just after. Let me just do a merge. Where are you? Merge. Visible. This one. Let me remove the cube. Delete. Okay. Then let's do a merge visible as well. Then I have the merge one, and this one. Then it could be append this one, append this one. Okay. Control W, Control W, Control W. Okay. Then I can copy this tool, this current one, because I saved everything. I can load my pod, which is way too small. I can do a merge visible as well. Merge visible. That's a tool already. Then I can append my merge model. Let me just scale down. Not in the good one. Sorry. Append merge. Where are you? You are way too small. Just to do a quick scene with everything. Ah no, the robot is here. Just to have a kind of visual feedback. Sorry, you need to imagine that you have the other fingers of the robot, the pod. Without the symmetry it would be better, but let me just bring back the reference. Sorry, I don't have the fingers with this this robot, but well, it gives you already an idea. And let me load the last version of 2B. Then let's do a merge visible as well. What is invisible? Okay. Then merge visible. And append. Of course, you don't have everything already done for, oops, what is it? I have a mask applied on the head. Okay, then again, the pose need to be refined with everything, which will be a kind of last part, but it starts to give you a kind of overall idea of where we are right now. Let me remove the grid, my floor. Then still quite some work to do, but again, in between I will do some refinement here and there about everything. I still need to work on the knees and stuff like that, but now I have more time, then it will be easier. Then I need to refine the water. It's look at a bit too much, the angle I give on that one, of course, with the pod with the good arms. Just one thing about the pods. In the version you see on screen, I rescaled the arms. In fact, the one are way bigger because on the illustration they look bigger. I think mine are a little bit too big, but the one I redid on my model that you can see here, I think I way too much close to the video game by itself. I need to find something in between, because this kind of cartoon style, the kind of SD super deformed style, I think it's nice for the small pod. Then of course it needs a lot of refinement and all that stuff, but I guess I will have the time to work anyway on some details. I will refine the legs, and I will finish the broom, all this kind of stuff, and it will be more the small detail stage. I need to refine, you see, the clothes on all this area, putting some details, and of course refining the pose before moving to the slicing part, which will be very technical, to be honest. Not the next ZBrushLIVE, I mean my session, but the one after, where I will split everything. It will be a lot of repetitive tasks, but I will really try to explain everything. Then we'll do some back and forth between the software for the 3D printer, and I will need to prepare everything because I'm short in terms of times. Then about the chat, Paul Silly, yes, I need to refine my water. I know it's kind of weird. To be honest, like I said before, this is the first time I'm just sculpting some water. Then I need to look a little bit at references. But again, this is just the first step. Then in terms of my favorite feature in 4R8, by far the live Boolean. Yes, I love the gizmo because it's very convenient, but in terms of capabilities to do what I could do now that was very difficult before, by far the live Boolean, and of course generating the Boolean mesh. And for me, who is doing a lot of 3D printing and figurines, sorry, it's priceless. Then for me, this is by far my most favorite feature, by far. Also, I really love the VDM, the vector displacement meshes brushes. For your information, if you're looking about the chiseled creature brush, this is a brush I did. In fact, this is my brush, and I hope to increase a little bit the content, and I will do more brushes that I will provide for free on my website. Then I really love VDM because for all the organic stuff, to build just to build some ideas. And Pablo from ZBrush Guides did a fantastic video where he's showing how to do some environment stuff with a kind of wall, kind of growth cave, and with some rocks and all this kind of stuff in just a couple of minutes. And for that, this is really powerful. And again, like I said at the beginning of this this session for ZBrushLIVE of today, it has been very painful for me to continue in 4R7 while I was working for a month in 4R8. But now I'm very happy to switch to 4R8 of course, just because of the gizmo, but also the deformers, because deformers are, for me at least, a kind of utilities. But doing some deformation like the bend curve or even the taper or the FFD box, all this bend stuff, I mean, you can do that with ZBrush, but it's very long, while now it's way more easier. And the same about having this this selector of primitive. You have better look on your model all the time, but of course you can disable it if you want. You can still use your M key to have a different view. You have a lot of alternatives. Anyway, then again, see you next week. If I remember, this is next Sunday. For your information, in July I will do some sessions on Saturday, same time, always at 9 p.m. French time, 12 a.m. Pacific time, and I will try to move forward at least to be done, let's say, in 3 sessions, and then moving to the next project, which will be a Kylo Ren helmet to 3D print and to wear to do something more cosplay style stuff. Okay guys, and thank you very much to be with me, to have spent these 3 hours and 20 minutes with me, and then see you later. Bye bye.